All right, welcome back. We are now on to part 3 of our color theory practice worksheets. We have completed the first and the last page with the painting tips and techniques. And for the middle page on color harmonies and schemes, we're just going to use colored pencils to fill these in. So I want you to still use the same color that you used for all of your painting. So I used green for all of my painting techniques, and I'm going to continue to use green. Okay, so here are the different types of color harmonies or schemes. Excuse me. I'm using green. So the first one is monochromatic, and this means mono, which is one chromatic color, so one color. So I'm just going to have green. And on my color wheel, I'm going to, so your color wheel that you have is on the front page of your worksheet. So find where your color should be and fill in that corresponding bubble on the worksheet. So green is on the very bottom circle of the color wheel. So I'm going to fill that in. And only that circle. Okay. Monochromatic, one color. So that's the only color I could use in that color scheme. You may also use black and white in any of these color schemes to adjust the value and the tone. So tints, shades, and tones. So you can have black and white and green. Analogous is 3 or 4 colors that are directly next to each other on the color wheel. So I start with my same green. Okay, and you need to write down the colors that you're using. So I'm going to write that here, green. Okay. I can either do the 2 colors that are one on each side, or I can do the next 2 colors that are on one or the other side of this green. So for this, I'm gonna do the colors that are on the right side. So on the color wheel, when I look at, okay, here's green. My next 2 colors are yellow green and yellow. So I'm going to first color those in, and then I'm going to write them down here. If you don't have a color, if you only have primary colored pencils and you don't have a lot, how you get yellow-green is you layer green and yellow on top of each other. So I'm going to show you that way, just in case you don't have a whole lot of different color pencils at home. So first, I know I need to have yellow too, so I'm going to fill in the yellow. Okay, and then in this middle, I'm going to do yellow and my green. And it makes the yellow-green. Make sure you label those. And that's analogous. You want to think of an analogous color scheme like a little family. So they're all pretty closely related. Complementary color scheme we already talked about earlier in on our first page of our worksheet. I still need to use green because that's my primary color that I'm using. And then to find the complementary color, it is directly across from my color on the color wheel. It has to go through the middle. You can't say, oh, this is a straight line. No. Okay, it has to go straight through the middle. So I need red on the opposite side. And make sure you label them. Green, red. Okay. Down here at the bottom, we have split complementary, double complementary, and triad. Now, complementary color scheme will give you some really bold results because they're opposites. So when you have those two colors next to each other, they work like black and white, and they really make each other stand out. If you want to have a little bit more variety, though, then you would do a split complement, so you can add in one more color to your color scheme, or a double complement. And that will be 4 different colors that you can use. So this will be a much more variety. This is a little bit more variety, and this is a lot more variety. So with split complement, you still start with your primary hue. And then you guys can see this really skinny triangle right here. You find your complement, and then you split, and you take the 2 colors that are on the opposite side of each of the complement. So that would be red violet and red orange. So I'm gonna put those, to look at it this way, so it's the same. Red orange and red violet. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how to mix those again. So start with red, and just color it lightly. If you press too hard, one will overpower the other. Okay. This is red orange, so I'm going to layer orange on top. And this is red violet, so I'm going to layer violet on top. I'm going to color that red just a little bit more. Make sure you label them. So that's green, red violet, and red orange. For a double complementary color scheme, I'm not going to use my primary hue. I'm going to split on the 2 colors beside my primary, and I'm going to split on my complementary color. So here's my primary, so I split and take the 2 colors on each side. Here's my complementary, I'm going to split and take the 2 colors on that side. So down here at the bottom, I'm going to have yellow green and blue green. And on the top, I'm going to have red orange and red violet. This is green, yellow green, and this is blue green. Okay, make sure you label all of them. Red violet, red orange, yellow green, and blue green. And I know there's not a lot of space there, but you guys can figure it out. Okay, last thing is a triad. So triad are any 3 colors that are equally spaced throughout the color wheel. Primary colors are a triad, and secondary colors are triad. So you can just use one of those, like here on my example, I have the primaries listed. But just to do something different, I'm going to use my same color that I started with. So I'm going to have green, and I'm going to have all of the secondaries. So green, orange, and violet. And make sure that you are coloring in the colors in the correct space on the color wheel. Use the first page as a reference if you're not sure where the color should go. Okay, and then make sure that you label them green, orange, and violet. Okay, and then you have your color harmony schemes completed. So with just the one color green, you can get a lot of variety with the color scheme of your painting by choosing one of these different harmonies. So let's recap. Monochromatic is just one color. Analogous are three colors that are next to each other. Complementary are directly across from each other on the color wheel. Split complementary color is your hue and the two colors that are on the opposite side of your complement. Double complement, you split both sides of your main color and the complement, and you do not include that main color in the complement. And then a triad is any four equally spaced colors on the color wheel. And that is it. And we are finished with our color theory practice worksheet, part 3.